tonight is really a great night. It's a night of celebration. It's a night where we celebrate 50 years of Ireland's membership of the European Union, and it's a night where we celebrate that, coupled with the massive progress our country has made in the education space over that half a century. And really, when we reflect on our membership of the European Union, when we reflect on the progress we've made in terms of access to education and the journey we're travelling, really there aren't any more powerful levers than multilateralism and access to education. And when those two come together, you really see huge social cohesion, peace, understanding, cultural understanding, and of course economic and social well-being. That to me is what education means, and that to me is very much what membership of the European Union means. And there has not been a more transformational decision made by the people of this country in the last half a century than joining the European Union. It has changed our way of life, and we like to think with good reason that we have positively helped change and shape the European Union as it has grown as well. So it's right and proper that we're here tonight as we celebrate 50 years, to celebrate 50 years of Europe and 50 years of university education and of access to third level education as well. And earlier this year, I, along with Minister Byrne and so many ministers and ministers of state across government, joined with European ambassadors representing all countries of the European Union to visit secondary schools and to visit primary schools and to talk to school children who've never known anything like myself other than an Ireland in the European Union, and to remind them of what our country was like pre-membership, what our country's journey has been like through membership, and what we hope both our country and our European Union will become as we continue the next 50 years of our journey as well. And if ever we saw the importance of multilateralism, the importance of working together, we saw it during the COVID pandemic. This country, and I remember being at those meetings at the time when I was in the Department of Health, this idea of united action, this idea of bringing the best and the brightest, including those working in our universities, our scientists and our researchers together to come up with vaccines, to come up with treatments, to come up with a way forward from the greatest health crisis, the greatest pandemic that we have faced in our lifetime. And if we look at how well we can line up on the same side against a common challenge, and I think you can take the exact same approach when you look at climate action, and of course you take the exact same approach when you look at defending democracy, protecting freedom, and calling out Putin for his horrific illegal invasion in Ukraine. Education and its ability to shape our future is such a powerful tool, and it has been my greatest honour to be our country's first Minister for Further and Higher Education, Research, Innovation and Science, because we believe in this government, in this country, in our higher education sector. We believe that higher education and research aren't discretionary extras, aren't nice to haves, but they're actually fundamental foundations for developing and sustaining social, economic, cultural and environmental progress. And we're preparing the building blocks for a new era of third level education, one with a truly connected education, training and research ecosystem, one that doesn't operate in silos, but works together around the citizens with opportunities and with options for students and learners at all stages of their life. Because we believe education is a public good. We believe it has an ability to level the playing field, to transform an individual, a community, a country and a European Union. The potential for this 21st century reform agenda can be seen through what has already been achieved when we have, as a country, taken higher education and taken research seriously. We live in a country in the European Union that has one of the most highly educated workforces in the world. Around 2/3 of our population now attend higher education, and a vast majority of our population finish second level and obtain a third level education. Our second level education system is firmly established as a common good, as a driver of social and economic progress. And now we want to absolutely embed that view of third level education as the bedrock for future prosperity. But again, we can't do it alone. This is a small island, an open economy, but at the heart of the European Union. And that's why collaboration and partnership across the EU on the big issues simply makes sense. The challenges that confront us every single day are not just our challenges, they're European and global challenges. And we must therefore address them together. And we are so well placed to work together with the scale and structure of education, deep professional and societal connections, and a strong tradition of cooperation in the sector. The 2017 Gothenburg Summit saw EU leaders outline a vision for education and culture, and in its conclusions, the European Council called on Member States, called on the Council and called on the Commission to take forward a number of initiatives which aim to bring together a new generation of creative Europeans with the ability to cooperate across languages, borders and disciplines to address societal challenges. And Ireland has been and remains very supportive of this initiative. We see it as a huge strategic opportunity for Irish higher education. Our universities is much higher in terms of our participation in the European universities than the European average, and we want to continue to expand that and do even more. We know that our membership of the European Union has transformed the lives of so many students with the Erasmus Plus programme, and I think it's only right and fitting that on a night like tonight we remember that it was an Irish man, an Irish commissioner, Peter Sutherland, who designed that Erasmus programme, a programme that has enabled countless Irish students to study in other European countries and has enabled countless others to come and study here. Education, I believe, is the next big project for the European Union, because if we can get to know each other, if we can know our cultures, if we can understand our perspectives, we can further embed peace and further work on the solutions. And of course, I can't leave you tonight without addressing the reality of what's happening in Ukraine and the many students from the Ukraine who will walk through the doors of an Irish university in the coming weeks. I never fail to be amazed by the resilience of these people. People who left their country overnight with literally the clothes on their back, who are now about to enter an Irish university determined to complete their third level education. Students who fled their home place with a moment's notice, who sat the equivalent of their leaving cert here, I see Emma, here in Trinity and in Galway. And I thank Trinity and Galway for their leadership and others and DCU in relation to that. Thank you, Dara. So he's never shy about, saves you tweeting me anyway. But I genuinely thank our sector for stepping up to the plate. It tells a story about the Ukrainian people, and it tells a story about young Ukrainian people. And we must make sure that Putin's ambition of destroying the next generation of Ukrainian leadership cannot succeed. And we in the higher education sector can do that by opening our doors and by accommodating students in our universities. And Maynooth University has led the way in terms of hosting the Student Help Desk, which I know is an initiative of all the sector, to make sure that any Ukrainian who arrives here in Ireland who wants to complete their third level education can have a bespoke conversation about the routes and the ways forward. So I want to finish by expressing my thanks to everyone participating in today's IUA EU50 event. Whether it's vaccines, whether it's defending democracy, whether it's humanitarian response to crises, whether it's climate, whether it's access to education, whether it's research, cultural, economic opportunities, all of this is best delivered by an Ireland working at the heart of the European Union. And at a time when there is so much uncertainty and worry and fear in the world, I do think our membership of the European Union can give us a great sense of hope. And I know when people hear politicians talking about hope, it can sound a bit wishy-washy. It shouldn't be seen as that, because hope isn't wishy-washy, actually. Hope is a way of leading, hope is a way of living, and hope is a way in which we should all work, because in the words of our former Nobel laureate and a great friend of County Wicklow's, Seamus Heaney, hope is not optimism which expects things to turn out well, but it's something rooted in the conviction that there is good worth working for. All of us involved in higher education, all of us in this country who value our membership of the European Union, know there is so much good worth working for, and know the best chance of achieving it is by working together at a national and at a European level. Thank you so much for having me this evening.